say this off the bat. I don't like isekais. They're just messed up, man. But once in a while, that's a very long while. There's one that I'll draw that manages to surprise even me. And one of these is the saga of Tanya the Evil. While most trapped in another world stories focus on young, basic vanilla bros, this show exhibits a different type of isekai protagonist. Not only that, but it also has a pretty interesting conflict between its protagonist, Tanya, and antagonist being X, exploring the complexity of human nature, an intellectual war on the rational and emotional reasoning behind human behavior. So who's on the right? Which side will come out on top? And so forth. Let's explore. The show follows Tanya de Grushev, an 11-year-old girl reincarnated previously from a heartless present-day male white-collar employee who held no faith or belief in God. After being shoved in front of a train by an individual he had previously fired, an entity claiming to be God appears, using time to speak to him with the intention of awakening his faith. This man not only had the audacity to deny this entity's alleged authority and godliness, while on the brink of death, by the way, but also goes as far as to shoot off his mouth that the existence of any god is useless. Does he have a death wish? Oh, wait, that was a dumb question. He's actually dying. He even refuses to refer to it as God, deciding instead to call it Being X. In response to this man's extreme hard pass, Being X decides to reincarnate the man as some sort of social experiment in an alternate reality version of World War I. Thus, the ongoing conflict between Tanya and Being X kicks off. Part of the issue is whether people think rationally or not. The answer is obviously no. People don't regularly think rationally, at least not explicitly. Being X and Tanya, before her reincarnation, didn't understand this fact, exacerbating the tension between them. How? Well, Tanya's reincarnation not only helped her see and understand this reality, but she also got to experience it for herself, an experience that Being X lacked and therefore led to its inability to fathom Tanya's resistance of him. At the start, Tanya has a bureaucratic personality. This is a term used to describe people, well, workers in particular, who really care about following the rules and regulations rather than being concerned with trying to get things done in a way that benefits everyone. Bureaucratic personalities are logical thinkers to the extreme. They prioritize facts above all else. They can be annoyingly blunt with others and sometimes come across as rude. They are methodical, logical, unemotional, and tenacious. And when their feelings cloud their judgment, then you better dip, because if you beef with them, you—
a girl have beef with me, she gonna have beef with me forever.
Cats also do very well in high pressure situations and will work calmly in a crisis, following the rules to do what needs to be done. Sound familiar? Yeah, Tanya. She sees others as tools she can use to her advantage, using them to advance her careers in both lives. She boasts about being a valuable human resource, doing everything to raise her worth in the eyes of her superiors, like the goody two-shoes she is. However, this personality was a disadvantage to her at times. Her complete lack of empathy and inability to put herself in other people's shoes rendered her blind to the possibility of the people she's offended taking revenge for her insensitive and cruel treatment of them. The genius behind Tanya and Being X's rivalry is that Tanya starts to get a taste of her own medicine from Being X and begins to act irrationally herself. Previously, she had tried to raise logical arguments against Being X, but towards the end of the show, she's filling its vessel with bullets, an act of violence that is the complete opposite of the classy and rational businessman she used to be. The finale does a great job at presenting Tanya's realization of this through her conversation with the lieutenant colonel. So the Empire won the war. Tanya tries to point out that the Empire hadn't actually achieved a total victory, leaving room for retaliation, to which the colonel replies that it would be ridiculous for a defeated country to sacrifice itself to carry on a senseless war. Realistically, this makes sense, and Tanya agrees with this point. But for our enlightened Tanya, who has witnessed more acts of human desperation in defiance of logic than the country's strategists, she goes on to explain that humans are not fundamentally driven by reason, but also by emotion, and in this case would be motivated by hatred. The strategic team failed to account for the emotional response from the collective hatred of the defeated nations that would inevitably follow, and it would cost them everything. In this case, Tanya recalls her past when she failed to understand this dual nature of humanity as both rational and emotional, and paid with her life for her ignorance. This was brilliant character development for her in and of itself. Similarly, Being X committed the same crucial mistake as Tanya, extending their ideological war, and it's the exact mistake the Empire's strategists made. Just like the strategists, Being X is far removed from the harsh experiences and realities of human nature. Tanya's actions were no longer rationally motivated, but due to pure legitimate hatred towards it. And Being X is completely oblivious to this. So which is in the right? The hateful and irrational man, or the ignorant and rational God? Regardless of their obvious power differences, Tanya definitely has the advantage because of Being X's ignorance concerning human nature. I mean, in her reincarnation, Tanya is not only smart, but as a soldier working on the front lines and the experience of her own death still fresh in her mind, Being X, in my opinion, will probably fail to get Tanya to believe in him because of everything that she's experiencing, leading to her victory because she stood strong in her beliefs even if she ends up in hell.